So I'm going to show you how to make raspberry gummies, and these are the collagen packed low sugar little gummy chews, which we're hearing so much about at the moment. Super easy to make, really quick, simple, and much cheaper than going out and buying a whole pack of them. So I'm going to start with some fruit. Now obviously this is the winter time and I'm filming this, so I'm going to use frozen fruit. These are mixed berries. I've got strawberries, blackberries, black currants, red currants, raspberries. If you've got fresh fruit, then that's great. You can use that in the summer. And I am going to use actually half the recipe that we have in the magazine, just because it makes so many. So I've got in here 350 grams of the frozen fruit, and I'm going to blitz that because you want to make a real lovely puree with it. So excuse the noise. I'm just going to puree that down. Just push that down because you really want to get this into a lovely smooth paste that you can then add the gelatine into. And lovely, so get that as smooth as you can. So I'll whisk that up again. I think that's going to take one more go maybe, just to get it completely smooth. You may find that if you've got fresh fruit, it blitzes really quickly and it kind of liquefies, which is what you want. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my frozen crushed fruits, and just to make this a little bit more liquid, I'm going to heat it. So I'm going to take this over to the stove top and put this puree into a saucepan. And then I'm going to heat this just to get the liquid form of the fruits. So there we go, let's just melt this down a bit. Look at that colour. Looks so good, doesn't it? And of course using the dark red and the purple berries is just going to give so much extra goodness, because we know that those brightly coloured fruits, you know, the dark purples, contain the antioxidants called anthocyanins, which have been shown to be really good for the skin, really healthy. If you can add a little bit of dark red, purple fruits or veg even into your daily diet, then that's a good thing. So obviously from the vegetable kingdom, you've got things like beetroot, radishes are good, you know, aubergines, that dark purpley colour. So the nutrients are in the colour. So that's why the dark berries are so good. Black grapes, you've got blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, black cherries. You know, you could do this with all different kinds of fruits. You could even use beetroot too if you want it, because beetroot is naturally sweet. It's got lots of natural sugars in it. So you could make beetroot gummies. So this is melted really well. And then what I'm going to do is, to get a smooth puree, is I'm going to sieve this. But you don't have to, that's a kind of an optional extra. Sieving will give you nice smooth jellies. And then if you sieve it, it just removes the seeds. But you know, the seeds are good for us because that's all good for insoluble fibre, good for our gut bugs. But I am going to sieve it because I'll just show you what it looks like. So bring it over here to another pan with a sieve. And I'm just going to sieve this through. So you just want to push it through a sieve. If you've got a food blender, you know, one of those really high powered food blenders, then you could actually blitz it in that. But I'm just doing it by hand to show that you don't really need much in the way of gadgets to make this. Just need a little bit of patience. So sieving that. And then into this mixture, once it is sieved, I'm going to add the water. So I'm going to use 100 mils of water. And then I'm just going to sweeten it with a little bit of honey. I'm going to use a local honey. I always say, you know, check where your honey's coming from. Look at the label on the jar. Make sure it's got the name of the region, at least, where it's coming from, so you know it's not a blend coming from, you know, outside the EU. A lot of honeys are mixed with a Chinese import. So you want to try and get a local honey if you can, or at least a British honey. If it's got the name of the beekeeper, even better. It's all about provenance. And then you know that you're getting the real deal. Okay, so that has sieved through. Lovely smooth liquid. And then into that I'm going to add the water. Stir that in. And then I'm also going to add now a little bit of honey. It doesn't need much, depends how sweet you like it. I'm just going to use sort of half a tablespoon of honey. Depends on your fruits as well. If you're using black currants, for instance, they're quite sharp, quite tart, so you might need a little bit more. And I'm going to pop this back on the stove. So this is my sieved fruits with the water added and the honey. So I'm going to put that very, very low heat. You don't want to heat this very much at all, just enough so that the honey will dissolve. And then you're going to add the gelatine. I'm just using simple sachets of ordinary gelatine. Each sachet is about 2 tablespoons, and you need about 4 tablespoons for this amount of liquid. And it's really easy to use. This is the powdered one, so I'm just going to sprinkle it on, and then it dissolves really quickly, so you just need to whisk that in. So just give this a quick little whiz and take it off the heat. Actually, it doesn't need to be heated. It's just about getting it dissolved. And then you're ready to make the jellies. Now, you can do this in lots of different ways. If you want to, you can use little tiny gummy jelly molds. So you can buy jelly molds like these. These are little silicone gummy molds, specially made for making this kind of thing. That's quite fun. Kids love little tiny jellies like that. Or what I'm going to do now is I'm not even going to bother with a set of molds. I'm actually going to just set this using a plastic container. So I'm just going to take a sort of shallow plastic container, pour that in, and then you're going to pop this into the fridge for, well, a couple of hours maximum. It will set. And then once this has set, you can then use a sharp knife to slice it into little squares and keep it. Or, of course, if you put it in your jelly molds or your gummy molds like these are little hearts, you can then pop them out. That's what they look like when they've been set. And you've got your little gummies here, all ready just to pop into another little plastic container or a jar, and then you can keep them in the fridge, ready for a little bit of healthy, skin-saving snacking. They taste really good. Enjoy.